Hey guys, it's Deb Joyce Meek from Delight of My Art, and today we're making a center step card. This is the first time that I've been playing with this fun fold. I made it late last night because I had a project to do, and I decided to try out this really cool center step card. And so I'll be teaching you how to put this together today. Isn't that cool? So I just got this in the mail too on Thursday, Plentiful Plants Suite. So this really beautiful stamp set has matching dies. I think I threw them over here. Perfect Plants dies. So I've got a bunch of them already pulled out, but we'll be using the dies. It also comes with matching paper. This card that I did here, I stamped the images here and cut them out with the dies. And then on the next card, we're going to be making almost the exact same card, only we're going to be pulling pieces from the DSP. You can just cut, using the dies, the paper. So I cut out a couple pieces here. There's a couple sheets that have the pots, and those all have dies too. It's really a cool pack of paper. The paper has this really nice brick pattern, this brick pattern, beautiful stuff. So it coordinates a lot with some of the other stuff that we already have, like this brick folder. Let me see if I have that nearby. Yes, brick and mortar 3D folder. I love this embossing folder. I use this all the time. It makes this really cool brick pattern. So I will be using this on the bottom piece here, and then on the back, this is a new macrame embossing folder, so we'll be using that one too. Just trying to see if anybody else will pop on here in just a second. And getting my comments up. Hello, Becky. I see that you're watching. And hello to everybody watching on the replay later on. All right, so first things first, let's get the base going for this center step card. This is the trickiest part, and I have another tutorial with using this same fold through my emails this month. I'm part of a tutorial group and I'll be sending out free tutorials in my emails on Tuesdays, free tutorial Tuesdays. So you'll be seeing this card on that group. So I just wanted to show you a sneak peek about what's coming up. I won't be sharing any pictures of that. You just get to see it in the email and how to make that. So this is the card that we're making today. Go ahead and take out your trimmer, and I've got a thick piece of Whisper White. And instead of cutting it in half regular like this for a card, we're cutting it vertical. So at 4 1/4. And we'll only need one of those. Now this is the trickiest bit, getting all of these measurements right. Okay, so on the long side, we're gonna go to 6 1/2 and just score. Get my trimmer blade out of the way and just score at 6 1/2. Now on the opposite side, so we have a short panel and a long panel. We're gonna be staying on the long panel side at the end. Put it into your trimmer at the 1 inch mark past the blade area here. And with the scoring tool, we're going to go up 1 inch on this side and pick it up and go score 1 inch on this side. So we're going to have a 1 inch score mark here and a 1 inch score mark here, and that is in 1 inch from the end. Hopefully that makes sense. So since this is 4 1/4, we want to go to 3 1/4. So I'm scoring up to 3 1/4. I'm going to lift this and put it down at 1 inch and then just continue up. So hopefully you can see that we didn't score the whole way. We just did an inch in on both sides. So now I'm going to turn it around so that our score marks we just made are on this side, and then I'm going to place this at 2 inches. We need to do that same thing again. Score in an inch on both sides. Since there's not 2 inches on this side of the trimmer, I have to turn it around. It's a little easier this way to have something to hold on to. So again, we're going to score with this at 2 inches down to the 1 inch. I promise this is worth it. And 3 1/4 down to the end. Okay, can you see that? Bring my lights back in here. So we've got a score, and this is flat. Now we want to just place this into the trimmer at that 1-inch mark again. We're going to cut from this first score that we made, starting here at the corner, all the way to the 6.5-inch score mark that we made earlier. So I'm going to take my cutting blade and set it at 1 inch. Again, this is in 1 inch over here. The edge is over here at 1 inch. I'm going to put it in and plop it down with the trimmer at 1 inch here, and then score down to that mark here. And it ends up being, yes, it's 6.5 because that's the side we put it on. When I turn it around, it won't be at 6.5 anymore. So again, put it at 1 inch. Oh, I might not be in the camera anymore. Let's see. I'll try to push it up as much as I can. So here's 1 inch, and I'll be putting it in. It ends up plopping in at 4.5 because that's where this 6.5-inch score mark lies. And we'll be cutting this down to 10 inches. That's 1 inch shy of the entire length of our paper. So hopefully you can see that. We've got this score line here at 6.5 inches, and we cut all the way to that, and then down past the second score line here, all the way to this one. We need to do one more mark. Over here, this score line that goes the whole distance, we need to go 1 inch in from there and score just between these cut marks. So with, let's see, with your end of your paper here at 5.5 inches, that makes sure that this 6.5-inch score line is 1 inch in. Do a little bit of math here. All right, so we're going to score from 1 inch to 3 1/4. So there we go. We've got a score mark right here. We've got a score line right here. And this is the base of our card. That is a little bit tricky, I know. So if you need to rewatch this and play that a couple times to get it. So I'm going to fold it at the 6.5-inch line. And I'm going to, see this T right here? I'm going to try to pop that up here. Let's see. Like this. So that just needs to lay down like this. And now this will fit into a regular size envelope. So go ahead and take your bone folder and give that a good press right here on these corners, the shoulders, the top part, these little scores right here, and then underneath these little folds right here. So now we have this cool center step fold. So here is the card that we are going to be making using the Plentiful Plants bundle of products. Now, this piece in the center is 2 1/4 inches wide by 4.5 inches tall. And I cut that using this cool DSP that matches the suite. I'll just go ahead and attach that. Actually, I won't. Don't attach this yet because we're going to be tying this little thing right there. So first we're going to do some die cutting. I'll tell you all the pieces first. So we've got this DSP piece. And we've got some side panels here, and then this lower panel. So the side panels are 4.5 inches tall, 1 inch wide each, and you'll need 2 of those. And then the bottom piece is 1 inch tall by 4 1/4. So the only difference here is this one's just a little bit shorter, 4.5 and 4 1/4 for the length on those. And that's for the width there. So that should fit perfectly on this card. And we'll go ahead and get the machine out. So here's my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Is that too close? Maybe. There we go. All right, so I've got some leftover bits left on here from cutting the first one. All right, so we've got our cute little hanging basket. I'll go ahead and stick that on there. We've got this piece of DSP with the leaves, and I've already taped on that piece. We've got one pot, two pots. I love that it all coordinates like this. And now I just need my top panel, my top plate. This is a bit of an awkward move here with the, sorry for the shaking. All right, so let's take these panels off because I still need the machine for some embossing, so we're gonna keep that for just a second. Actually, I'll just take this whole plate off, put your number 1 plate back in, and we'll take out this brick and mortar piece with the bottom panel. So I'm going to line this up so that the bricks are straight and centered on my piece. Give it a pinch. You can kind of see that there's 3 lines of bricks there. And I'm going to hold that real tight so that it doesn't shift when I put the top plate on. And we need the specialty, yes, this gray number 4 piece for this 3D folder. If you're ever wondering what your sandwich should be in the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, it is printed right on plate number 1, which is the base plate, which is so handy. Right here it says using 3D embossing folders to use number 1, the embossing folder, and this gray number 4. I like that they made it easy with numbers right now. And so our other embossing folder is right here. The macrame 3D. So another 3D one. We'll still need this plate. And I'll get out my little gray pieces. Again, these are 4.5 inches tall. And I'm just lining it up so you see there's little kind of cross-hatchy marks. I'm going to center that design on my pieces. Or attempt to. I'm going to go over just a smidge. That looks pretty good. Alright, so I'm going to pinch that and run that through. And that should be the end of our... Hello, Sue from the UK. I love that you watch me all the time. It makes me smile. Okay, let's get our pieces together here. Oh, I didn't take out my brick one. I love the reveal when you do embossing folders and you open up the folder, especially for people that have never done embossing. It's always a fun reveal. Okay, I'm just going to stick this on the floor. Okay, so here's all of our pieces. Oh, this one's still in here. We've got this cool piece. We've got these leaves. Oh, that's perfectly cut. Got a pot, another pot, and I fussy cut another leafy thing from the paper. Okay, so let's get those out of the way. And we've got all of our pieces here and our base. So, this is about how it's going to look. I like to kind of place things where they go, just to kind of get a feel for what goes where when I'm creating a new card. It's nice copying your own cards or somebody else's. You kind of have an idea of where to go, so cards come together a little quicker. But I think this should look good. It's about the same color scheme as this one, only it's a little bit brighter because it's printed instead of stamped. So let's go ahead and start gluing some things down. Now the side panels here don't affect anything when we put it together, so we'll just go ahead and glue those right down. Who else is glad that it's Friday? You guys have any fun plans for the weekend? I'm probably packing. We're gonna be going to a wedding and next week sometime, so I've got to make sure we've got clean clothes for the 4 kids. All right, just make sure that it's centered on this little side panel, and since we embossed, it might have stretched the paper a little bit and you might get a little overhang here. I try to shove it into this little corner as much as I can, but we still might get a little overhang, so just take your snips and just snip that off. No big deal. And this one, I like using liquid glue because it gives me a little bit of wiggle room in case I didn't get it straight the first time. Like that. I can shove it into little corners a little easier when I've got some time to wiggle it in. Again, it might be overhanging, and it is, so we'll just go ahead and give it a quick snip. Okay, our card is coming together here. Let's go ahead and stick this panel down too. We don't need to do anything special with this bottom panel, so we'll just stick that on. Normally I could just put on the center one too, but since we have some rope hanging up our pot, it will affect that. We're going to wrap that around the back side here. So first let's put our little piece together here. We've got these 3 little pieces. I'm going to take some glue dots and just stick this piece on the front side of this little plant, and then tuck that right behind the plant so it's sitting in the pot, right? That's so cute. Hardly any work. Now I'm going to turn my little hanging piece upside down and put some dots on the corners here. Not too much, I don't want it to ooze out, but all of these intersecting areas, I just want to put a little dot. And we'll go ahead and put the pot upside down on there, and since we've got some wiggle room, we're going to pick it up and make sure it looks good before we hold it in place a little longer. That looks cute, right? Now this twine combo, we have this new twine combo in this catalog this year, and it comes with 5 basic colors, which is great. I love having white and black around all the time, and vanilla is handy occasionally. I don't often use vanilla base cards though, so it's nice to have it. And then we've got this crumb cake one and this gray granite one. Love having other options, and since I used gray granite for the hanging thing here, we're going to extend that. See, that's probably about 7 inches or so. It's probably too long, but that's okay. We can always trim it again. I'm going to put 2 ends together so I have a loop here. I'm going to take my loop end and stick it through the front of, hopefully I'm doing that right. Yeah, through the front, through the back. Through the back. Is it through the back? I think it might have been the other way. I can never get that right. It looks good. That was through the back. You could go either way. and then pull it through. So this is our little hanging pot. Isn't that cute? I just love it. Okay, so that will be hanging here on this panel. So we'll just tape it on the back here. So I'm gonna get my strong adhesive here, Stampin' Seal Plus, and I'm just gonna make a couple lines here near the top. So when I place this on here, about centered from the top to the bottom here, and centered left to right, when I wrap it, all I have to do is just stick it down. And then we can trim off this end. See, we had way too much, so 7 inches was too long. We probably could have got away with 5 or so. Gotta have something to work with though. All right, so we got our string down, but I forgot to put on some dimensionals. So we do want to put dimensionals on this, make it pop. So I'll put on some minis and some regular size. Put on some regular size to these big leaves. Will that be able to take a big one? Yep. Okay, and I'll just fill in the rest with little ones. And I'll put it in the, well, let's do big ones right here. I want it to be secure, and I don't want this to be flopping around when we have somebody pulling it in and out of the envelope. Goodbye, mess. It's still fairly clean in here. You should be proud. I had to make a project, this pink tree project that I showed earlier, late last night. It was due at 10 p.m. Central, and I finished it at 10 p.m. Eastern. So I finished it with an hour to spare. Whew! Oops. I didn't mean for it to wait so long to get it done, but I at least got it done. I said I was going to get it done, and I did. That's good. Has anybody done this fold before? This fancy fold? Fun fold? Do you call it fancy fold or fun fold? I always call it fun fold, and I just said fancy. It is pretty fancy though. This one's fancy. Okay. That's what we mean by wiggle room. It's wiggling all over the place. Ooh, pinched too hard. Okay, just give it a press. It's down there. Look how cute that is. Now we just have to add this little pot and our sentiment. So again, with this one, I'm going to, oh, the back is little wood paper. This does show, it probably won't show. It shows the teensiest bit if somebody were to be nosy and look at the back, but it doesn't really matter. All right, we need our glue dots. The front of this is right there. Rip off my end so I don't have that flapping around. And this cute, oh, I want to tuck in, can I tuck that front piece over? There. Almost fancy with it. Okay, so now I want little glue dots, not glue dots, I want little dimensionals on this right side and on the bottom so that it can sit right here. I don't want it to attach right here. So I'm going to put one way at the bottom, way on the side here, maybe right here. Probably can still put one way up here. Ooh, that's over off the edge. Push. Sometimes if you haven't pushed these down very hard, you can just kind of peel them up and reposition. All right, so before we put that down, I think that should be able to go. Let's even put it down a little bit like that. We could have put a big one here. Let's put a big one here. Can I take this one off? There's my big ones. Okay, so we're ready to put this little pot on here. Oh, it's so cute. Before we do that, let's go ahead and do our sentiment strip. This is a 1/2 inch strip. I have lots of these because when I cut my inside panels to my cards, especially if they're a colored cardstock, you have a 4 inch by 5 1/4 inch white sheet for the inside of your cards usually. This is what I'm cutting off of those strips. They make wonderful sentiment strips. It's the perfect width for a lot of things. We're going to use this saying to a dear friend in garden green. Bring some green back into this one. And if it's not straight, we can stamp the other side. But it looks really good. Yay! And since I have so many of these, I don't need to worry about keeping any little bits that I don't need. I'm just going to snip off the end. This kind of makes it fancy without any punches or special dies or anything. It just looks cool. Especially since there's something there, it's kind of rounded. It just fits real perfect right in there. So I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of that too. And we are almost done. Welcome to October. Can you guys believe it's October already? Okay, we'll take all of our dimensional backs off. Am I in the center here? And we'll just stick that centered on this bottom area, top to bottom, and then we'll know where to put this piece. And then you can tell me if you like the stamped one or the DSP one better. I think the DSP one is a little bit brighter because of it being printed. But the stamped one was fun to make. And there's no printed part of this in the paper. So yeah, let me know what you think. We've got our cute little cards there, and they stand up so that your recipient can display your piece and be super proud that you thought of them. Aren't those cute? So I wanted to show you something else. I just posted about this too. I have these cute little gifts for anybody that places an order this month. These really cute little cat sticky notes. So it's a little Velcro booklet using the same products here, and I will give one of these in the mail to anybody placing an order this month of $30 or more from the catalog. If you order $100 or more, I will send you all 4 of these. So there's 4 different little kitty sticky notes. Aren't they so cute? So that's how to get all 4 of them. Got this cute little black and white one. This little ginger one. I don't know which ones I showed already. They're just so stinking cute. I couldn't let them be, so little Siamese kitty. So those are my free gift to anybody that places an order using the host code. There's a link in that post. It's on my Facebook page here, and I'll be adding it to my web page there too soon, delightofmyart.com. And thank you for watching. Here again is that sneak peek. If you want to be on my email list, I'll have all of the directions to make this card right here. Doing that on a Tuesday coming up this month sometime. Don't know which Tuesday, but it'll be one of those. And let's see if I have any other announcements. I think that's it for right now. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and have a fabulous day. Bye.